All right. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bashim Yahushua, Bashim Kakudash. Second, I want to give double honors to the apostles of Jesus, the rulers, beloved elders and teachers. And peace, blessing, salutations to the hopeful elect. That's consists of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Hispanics, Native Americans, and West Indians, which makes up the 12 tribes of Israel today. And Lord's will, we part of that number, the elect that will be risen up in these last days and be restored through the will of Yahweh Shah, through Yahweh. Now, the title's pleasure. Again, I asked ChatGPT a question, and pleasure and mental harm. And one thing Esau does, he entices the people of America. Oh yeah, damn. Mighty funny. I'm gonna start off with this. Let me see. So first, I'm gonna start with this. First Corinthians 2:4, and one of the reasons why this gospel offends and is kind of hard, challenging. Um, a lot of people are not going to make it. The scripture says there's more. It's going to be more the people that's going to perish than be saved. Because one thing about this truth is not about you. The world doesn't evolve around you. We are to serve and sacrifice our lives to Yahweh Bashim Shah and the truth and what's right. And we have to make a stand. So that's very, in this world where Esau entices and, the form of liberty, you can do as thou want, do as thou will. It's a big snare. So this is First Corinthians 2:4. And my speech and my preaching was not with enticing words of man's wisdom. Christianity, the ways of this world, being politically correct, having that new speak. A lot of people are enticed. Esau throws out those gifts and those dainties and those treats, and it misallures the people of being coerced to comfortability, pleasure, endeavoring, and things that are really not good for you. And you got to kind of realize, so a lot of things that the so-called American people is chasing you will never obtain. Today on the plantation, it was kind of it's kind of crazy. I was forced to use the little bit of Spanish that I know, and I haven't used it in a minute, long time. I was on the job site with an Iscarite, and he pretty much is, he just, how you say, he just let it out, the pain, the oppression. Man, it was a tongue load, man. Iscar was going in. Long story short, he said, he's getting the fuck out of America because it's not what he thought it was cracked to be. I think he'd been here for a couple of years, and he pretty much was saying, "Yo, it's not all you do is work here. Bills, bills, bills." He was crazy. He was talking about the blanquitos, el hombre blanquitos, the so-called white man, and it's called when I'm not gonna lie to you, but it says, was not with enticing words of man's wisdom, but in demonstration of the spirit and of the power. So, we go through these scriptures, we study the history, and we indulge in, the will, the power, the ways of Yahweh Shem Rashai and the prophets, and we indulge in it, so we're able to, broadcast and proclaim this truth. Not in a way that this world pushes, because everything, everybody is so, triggered, everybody's so emotional, everybody wants to, be accepted, and everybody wants to be coddled, open arms. But this truth is completely contrary to that. You're not going to be liked. This what we're in. Is about taking a stand against evil. What is it? To love the Lord is to hate the evil way. The 16 that the Lord hates, etc. He's hating the scriptures. Well, but contrary to man's wisdom, the so-called white man's wisdom, the power of this world, the God of this world, he has enticed you. You should love everything. You should accept everything. You should be politically correct. Your education should be about love. The movie Sinners. Shit funny as hell when he was talking about the fellowship of love and fellowship. So it's funny as hell. But it said that your faith should not stand in the wisdom of men, but in the power of Yahweh Shem Rashah. Howbeit we speak wisdom among them that are perfect, yet not the wisdom of this world, nor of the princes of this world that come to naught. So, it's not it's only but so much politically correct and try to sound like so educational or so extravagant is going to get you. At some point, somebody want to hear people want to hear the truth, and this is what we're about. Not sugar coated, not how you say diluted. If I don't know if I said it not right, said it or not, but this is it's not a mixture. This is not watered down. This is pure, uncut, straight raw. So bear with me. I'll kind of all over the place. So let me get this. Where I want to start. I'm going to the chat GPT. So it says, pleasure, while a natural and necessary part of life, is you got to know what's right and you got to know what's wrong. You got to know, like the scripture says, wisdom and knowledge, wisdom, and understanding should be like stability. So you got to know, you got to understand, what you can indulge in and what not to indulge in. Like for instance, you can drink juice, but is it wise to keep severely indulging in drinking juice? No, because it can fuck with your. And we all know that juice, candy, etc. can really mess up your liver, your kidneys, etc. Your pancreas. That's the reason why a lot of our people have diabetes, etc. Yeah, you can go out there eat a honey bun. Yeah, you can eat honey buns and indulge in the shit. I don't fuck with honey buns, but donuts, etc. But you can indulge in it all you want to. But when you're in the hospital, when you're not feeling too good, you got a headache. Your teeth are starting to decay. Then you gotta ask yourself, what the hell is really going on? You're getting a gut, you're getting fat stored in your legs. One thing that plagues our people is obesity. So going back, pleasure, while a natural and necessary part of life, can potentially harm or destroy a person's mind when it becomes excessive. And that's what me and that Iscarite was talking about. Your mind, because here in America, people have lost their goddamn minds. So it says becomes excessive, compulsive, or disconnected from meaning or balance. Here's how that can happen. So it goes on to say addiction and neurological hijacking. This is how Esau rules in his kingdom. Esau has studied, like the scripture says, what is it, in Daniel? He is wiser than Daniel. This man has studied the brain, studied adverse effects, what effects happen of excess. This man has had the time, and also has been able to study on the best of the best, meaning you Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, Hispanics, Native Americans. So let me get this. So it says addiction and neurological hijacking, dopamine overload. Pleasurable experiences trigger dopamine release in the brain. And let me get this too. The last days, and everybody loves pleasure, man. If you talk something that contrary to that, we understand, that offends people. Why? Because we're in those times. You know, uh, people will follow the people that makes them feel good, not more so stand up for what's right. All right, this is so Second Timothy 3:1. This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come. And this is why the times are bad, dangerous. You know, here it is. People expect peace, but when you really look at the history of how America was established, it was all rape, rob, and murder. But then Esau comes in the form of pleasure and ideologies, Christianity and democracy, Republicans, and all these code names and politically correct terms, which alter your thinking and promised you with you know opportunity, um, Hollywood, the great experience, pleasure, endeavors, indulgence. But when you really look at the majority of the people here in America, I mean, let's be honest here. A lot of motherfucking people here in America is in poverty. So it says too, for men shall be lovers of their own selves, women too. Covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy. And all of this is due because, this selfish, greedy, breaking up of the family. And this is all due to what? That pleasure. More people chase pleasures than wanting to do what's right, And, through Christianity, those open, no discipline, no backbone, no foot to stand on, not a rock, it's not a rock solid foundation. Hypocrites, but, and I say that because, this is a place where here in America, where people will talk about something, but they will say, but, right behind it, meaning basically you're still open to the fact that, you say it's wrong, but, you're open to it. So it's all bullshit. So it says, without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce despisers of those that are good. And, that's why they don't like us because, we're messing and just like Wisdom of Solomon, the second chapter, which goes into how Jake wants to indulge in all the good things of this world. Well, Esau promotes that out there. Here in America, they'll tell you, it's like a candy shop. You can go, they got a wide selection. Here in America, you got a wide selection of, indulging in it whatever the fuck you want to. And it's not really a recompense for it. Yes, of course, it depends on what you do. And, certain times and situation, you might, whatever it is, you might get caught. But, we understand here in America is really for the criminals. It's not for, structured family, righteous, upstanding, so-called person. Mainly it's not for our people, so-called Negro, Latino, Hispanic, Native American, because first and foremost, this society has been built off lying to the world who the fact of who we are, painting us as a criminal. The scripture talks about being Esau being accused of our brothers, and painting us in a narrate that we're evil and wicked. But about the whole time Esau is wicked, sons of the wicked himself, and he's able to rape, rob, and murder and set up so many endeavors across the world as in aid of help, pleasure, democracy, the openness of accepting everything. But in all, the end ball game is destruction. The end of Esau's cunning, nice words. And again, watch the movie Sinners, and when those Edomites wanted to get inside the building, they had so many. Even when the Edomite was running from Gad, he went into the Edomite's house. It was alluring. It was, tactic. Very decisive. From if I'm saying that word correctly, he was able to get in his house and then devour those Edomites, and then he was able to hover around Jake, and then eventually come into that building, get the woman, seduce the woman, and all in the name of love, enticing. We all fucking been around Edomites, man. We all know how they are. They always come around and talk that nice, sweet, that voice, their voices are very fucking annoying to me. I never really trust anybody that was nice. When you really look at the word nice, it basically says foolish. So let me continue on. I got a lot of scriptures. So it says, traders, heedy, high-minded, and this is all because of what? Everybody wants to indulge in pleasure, and the reason why nobody is not keeping anything tight and superficial and official and intact, because what? Esau has separated everybody into by what? Pleasure. So it said, traders, heedy, high-minded, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. So these people out here love pleasure. Women love the pleasures of being free. Being able to sleep with whomever they want, and men have loved the pleasure of basically just indulging in being whatever the hell they want to do. No discipline, no nothing, no honor, no standing up for anything. But that's why America's crumbling, because it's backfiring. But it's a controlled demolition from the higher ups. So let me see. Oh man, continuing on. So dopamine overload, pleasurable experiences trigger dopamine releases in the brain if pursued obsessively, etc., drugs, gambling, porn, or even social media. The brain's reward system can become desensitized, leading to a need for increasing intensity or frequency to feel the same pleasure. This is why, if you know anything about drugs and people that's on drugs, I've heard, once somebody smokes crack, that first feeling they're always trying to chase, and it's never like the first time. So it just gets worse. The drug use gets more, and and more cuts, more adding to the drug starts to happen. So meaning, if you don't have no discipline and a filtering system, and even look at your body. Your body has a filtering system. I'm talking about the insides of your body. That's why your kidney, your liver, and your pancreas, if I'm not mistaken, it's very severe if you lose your kidneys and your liver, because it's to filter out the good and the bad. And this is why people are consumed in this world, because your brain, you ought to have a filtering system. Like the scripture says, it's not what goes inside the man, is what comes out of the man. Yes, we indulge and see all types of shit out here, but you have to know what to allow in and what to reject. But due to the fact that this shit sounds so good, like you got bitches just turning on a camera, you got niggas just turning on a camera, sitting in a car, and being honest, you got certain people that go. I know everything's on the move, but long story short, if you just always in a car, I'm telling you, just sit parked, you renting, it's kind of like, man, come on, man, get the fuck out of here, stop playing, But it says, let me exit this out. especially, if they're not. I'm about to say, damn, that's Satan. Hold on, real quick. Gonna close out some of these tabs. All right. So it says, anhedonia. I never heard of this word. I don't know if I'm saying it right. It says inability to feel joy from normal life experiences. Yeah, man, that's why when you're around women, the little things doesn't matter anymore. Um, the average guy you're around, the average dude you just come around, nothing is authentic anymore because everybody is what desensitized, and they're so gone off pleasure, and they're so the pursuit of happiness, the pursuit of pleasure, the pursuit of being rich, like the scripture talks about. Many people have pierced themselves to try to live that lifestyle. That's really destroyed a lot of people. So when you come across the average, like Bro's been saying, starting with the elders on down through the spirit of Yahweh and Rashad, it's not the time to be fucking finding friends and knowing new people. Like, let's be honest. Even going out there trying to fucking know women, that's like a fucking, you gotta be an idiot. Look at all these videos how these girls are just devouring dudes. Nigga got to spend $1,000, $2,000, and these bitches still on some other shit. Like, dude, my man, if you listen, if a shorty don't, I'm gonna be honest with you, shorty want to really like go to a park, cause like, come on, let's be honest, how are you gonna fucking know somebody on a dinner date with drinks? You don't know. Relationships are established and are built within years, not one session. A dinner date, you got to drop $200, $300. How the fuck do you know somebody in one setting? You don't know that broad's family. You don't know that how that broad was raised. You don't know her peers. You don't know her friends. You don't know nothing about the broad. She came alone. She's putting on. She has a character. Half the time she probably has makeup and some bullshit on. You don't know that broad. And the same thing with dudes. You just out there. There's some nigga just come along. And you know how Jake, how we'll stumble across, dudes to start talking to, yo, what's up, dog? Yo, what's up, man? Yo, my man, yo. And y'all get to talking, and you just be like, yeah. You just shoot the shit with them, but it's like, man, nigga, man, if you get the fuck on my face, man, nigga, I don't, like, but that's the spirit of him. That's the spirit. That's the time that we're in, because you got to understand the time that we're in. These people are gone, desensitized, they're through. This is not the time to be getting those, trying to learn. I want to tell friends, and I want to have fun. I want to go, man. If you're still in that spirit, I don't know. So let me get some little bit more scriptures. I didn't mean to press that button. Get out of here. So Proverbs 21:17, he that loveth pleasure shall be a poor man. He that loveth wine and oil shall not be rich. Hey, like the scriptures even said in Ecclesiastes, or if I'm not mistaken. No. Yahweh Shah said it when Satan tried to tempt him. So the man cannot live off bread alone. It has to be more than that. And it clearly shows, because look at how many of our people got money, riches, drug dealers, etc. They have millions and millions. They're not happy. Look at these rappers that all of our people have. They always glamorize pleasure and joy, women, the caviar, going to the outings, my niggas, the boys, But then years later, look at these niggas. These niggas aren't happy. The niggas just talking about, yo, man, Fat Joe, Jada Kiss, etc. All these rappers are living check to check. They're broke. Like, for instance, nothing doesn't come to your mind when you see them making a Mission Impossible 5, 6, a Rush Hour 5, and what's all these movies that if they like, come on, I it should have got to be it got to be a point where you got to be like, hey, yo, why the fuck is Ice Cube making another Next Friday, huh? Mike Epps and like, come on, y'all. Where's the underlings? Where's the younger generation that can of actors that can act? That ultimately, this is how you really know that this is the last generation, because there's no more great actors anymore. You know, and these actors that they had in the 80s, the 70s, the 90s, they're old. Bruce, I think not Bruce, Jackie Chan once was talking about another Rush Hour. I'm like, man, get the fuck out of here. I don't want to see that shit. Like Jackie Chan, you're old. I'm in my 30s, and you know, I feel certain shit now being out here in this world. I go play a ball game or something. I'll be like, yo, what the fuck? I'm tired. I can't. I'm in my 20s no more. So how much more a 60-year-old? And all these niggas are old. These rappers are old. Jim Jones is old. All these niggas is old. And they're still trying to chase his pleasure and chase a glamorous life and broadcast it to the people. Like, nigga, man, showing you, nigga, you never even obtained it. If you're at your old age and you still got a glamour around like you, nigga, you trying to get some pleasure, you never got it. You know, you're not happy. That's that. This is desensitized mindset. That's you're desensitized. So it just increases, and it just get nastier, it just get more evil, more wicked, more worse. You know, it just it's what is it takes a turn for the worse. So going back. Let me see. One of my favorite scriptures, Galatians 5:19. Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness. And this all gets to people. Why? Because it seems pleasurable. Esau pushes this as if it will bring you pleasure and happiness. Idolatry. They teach it. They push all of this, man. Man, back in the day, even in the 90s, I grew up in the 90s. And this shit was unheard of, man. You know, yes, it was around. I'm not gonna sit there and not tell you, it was around, but it was like a stand on not to go in it, idolatry. Man, you hear, man, a bit if you heard about maybe some grandmothers and some family members down the line, South Carolina, North Carolina, do the what's the Santeria. You'd be like, oh, okay. But and even that was looked at like you'd be like, I don't stay away from that. But now that's like a cool thing now, You talk to certain people. Well, you talk to people about it. People would be like, oh, you are? Oh, how is it? Having those itching ears and that desirous mind to indulge in it, because they always push the narrative that these things are going to bring you pleasure, but all in all, it's destroying you. So hatred, variance, emulations, wrath, strife, seditions, and heresies, envyings, murders, and again, they all push this as pleasure. If you hate, if you commit murder, drunkenness, rebellions, and it tells you, the scripture said you should not inherit the kingdom of heaven. You're not going to be, if you're doing these things, you're not the part of the elect, because the elect is going to stay away from this. And that's, this has been a snare to majority of our people. And you got to understand, this is really our people are the ones that the world, Esau, is targeting. It has got to Esau and other nations, but that's due to the curses in Deuteronomy, I believe in 32:7, but the main push for this to indulge people to indulge in and to devour is our people. So let me see. Luke 8 and 14, and going to that parable, and that which fell among thorns are they which, when they have heard, go forth and are choked with cares and riches and pleasures of this life, and bring no fruit to perfection. And that's a lot of our people do. And hey, Elder Pasha speaks about this all the time. The world is very strong. Why you think more people is going to be less people that be saved than less people that's going to be saved than be saved, because the majority of our people are going to be destroyed. Why? Because they indulge in pleasure. So, going back. So, hijack priorities. The brain starts prioritizing the pleasure source above everything. That's why, going back to people that's on drugs, crack, heroin. Let me see something real quick. Let me ask. Let me see if ChatGPT is going to tell me. Let me see. Because hold on. How? Hold on. Let me see what this says. So yeah, I asked. I remember James Brown got a song called Heroin. I don't know if anybody haven't heard it. I would suggest you listen to it. I think it's it's a part 1 and 2. James Brown, Heroin, and replace the heroin of Esau's kingdom. It says heroin is extremely addictive, both physically and psychologically. Its addiction potential is among the highest of all drugs. Here's a breakdown of why. I've been around heroin addicts, and certain Jakes had. I had a family member that was on it. So you can't. This is not something that you can just cut cold turkey, or you would drop dead. So it said rapid brain effects. Heroin quickly crosses the blood-brain barrier. It converts to morphine and binds to opioid receptors. So it messes up your receptors in your brain, creating intense euphoria and pain relief. Dopamine surge. It causes a massive release of dopamine. And Esau studied all of this, man. This is why he made his kingdom so he made it look so obtainable and so pleasurable, and how you say it's so distorted. It makes you. It's like a drug. Esau's kingdom is like a drug. It's like heroin, reinforcing the brain's reward system and encouraging repeated use. Physical dependence. The body rapidly adapts to the presence of heroin, leading to tolerance. See that? Needing more to get the same effect, and withdrawal if use stops. Withdrawal symptoms, and this is why this gospel, this truth offends, because our people have been so addicted to this. I mean, again, it's all we know. This is all we were brought up in. Instead of, the scripture talks about never trust our enemy. Well, our people trusted the enemy. You know, uh, withdrawal symptoms begin within hours. So this is why you can watch mad videos and a lot of videos. Niggas just talking shit about the Hebrew Israelites. You don't talk shit about Massa. You don't talk shit. You don't talk shit about your Massa who you clock in the morning. If you have your own business, you don't talk about Massa where you had to go down to the city hall and get all these permits. The elites that make put our people in poverty. You don't talk about them, but you got so many words against us. Why? Because again, Esau, your master, has implemented and laid out this infrastructure for you to love, this drug use. So So withdrawal symptoms are muscle and bone pain, diarrhea, and vomiting, and this is why you have the scornings. This is why you go onto YouTube, TikTok, whatever. I don't got all of that shit, that social media shit, but you can go on these TikTok platforms and type in. I don't know what you're typing, but brothers see it. All these niggas and women, Israelites, man, Israelites, so-called Negro, Latino, Spanish, Native Americans, all online, talking that shit about their nationality. But you don't say shit about Esau. You don't say nothing about your massa. So it says, and see, and that's that. How you say? That's that withdrawal, Stockholm syndrome. Cold flashes with goosebumps, uncontrollable leg movement, severe cravings, and agitation. And our people, when we're out there on the highways and the byways and they hear these videos, it agitates them. Start scratching. Right? Because you're addicted to the society. And Esau's drug, you love it. Hey, like growing up, you used to Jake would get picked on. We didn't respect junkies. You fucking junkie, you crackhead, you loser. They were shunned. Anybody that was on drug, you get shunned. And again, shame. You were shamed. And well, it's no different than you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Hispanics, and kissing the so-called white man's ass, loving America. So off that, going back to pleasure. So it says hijack priorities. The brain starts prioritizing the pleasure, the drug. Man, I don't. Anybody that know what them drugs can do to a woman and a man. From all the endeavors, not the endeavors, but all my journeys amongst the East Coast and even Puerto Rico and the islands, man. The drug use has been crazy. Man, even alcohol. A man they don't give a fuck about anything else in this world except that craving, that need for that drug. But that's how people in this society. You gotta have that bullshit Esau is throwing at you. If it ain't white, it ain't right? So it said the brain starts prioritizing the pleasure source above everything. Relationships, see that? Relationships. This is why envy and murder has happened. Responsibilities, feminism, men getting rich, self-care, hygiene, etc. This is all what happens. And this is back into pleasure. How can pleasure destroy a person's mind? So that's what this is what it's saying. It's that the brain starts prioritizing the pleasure source above everything: relationships, responsibilities, and self-care. So this is serious, man. Yeah, that's why the scripture talks about in Baruch, the 4th chapter, come back to life. Don't give your reward, roughly paraphrasing, to another nation. Don't give your honor to another nation. Your love of Esau's drugs, this society, this infrastructure, you're giving honor to the so-called white man. Back in the day, you will bow down and honor. You sacrifice a child. You will sacrifice something to those gods in them ancient times. Well, you do it now. You do it in your character. You do it in your speech. You do it how the way you walk, how the way you talk. Like the scripture said, the man's gait shows what he is, his laughter, his talk, his speech, etc. Let me close this out. So loss of self-control and identity. Man. Chronic overindulgence in pleasure can erode a person's self-discipline. This is why it's been a complete change since, like I told you again, the 90s and 80s was not good, was not perfect by far. But Jake was different. Even, going back to the earlier 1900s and the mid 1900s, we wasn't completely right then. But Jake had more dignity than what they have today. Jake is fucking done. Se acabó. It's over. Going back. So making it harder to resist impulses. Over time, one's identity may become entangled with the pursuit of gratification. I'm a real nigga, WAC 100 and all these pathetic looking so-called black men, Latino, Hispanic men that got a ego, broken egos, and just gotta always put their teeth on the fucking TV. Always gotta show the world and prove a point. Always just out there. It sounds stupid as hell. You're trying to sound like you got some sense, but in all, you're a fucking joke. You're powerless. The so-called black man, all you doing when you get on these TVs and trying to talk this politically correct bullshit, you just really sound fucking stupid. Because at the end of the day, you don't have no power. You're a joke. Our people have lost their identity, suffering an identity crisis. Why? Because you want Esau's pleasure. You want Esau to love you. Hey, it's the movie Sinners. He said, we all love and fellowship. We all. I forgot the fucking exact words, but hey, just go rewind the part when Esau came up to the juke joint, and just look at how those coercive words, pleasure, come on, y'all, love, and that's how it, those Christians come up on camp day. That's how they come up, Again, we through the spirit of Yahweh Shai with our elders on down. We done that Christianity, that nice shit is, man. That's played the fuck out, man. I'm not gonna say that, but I'm gonna continue on. So over time, one's identity may become self-entangled with the pursuit of gratification, weakening long-term goals, values, or a coherent sense of self. And this is why Jake this really just gotta die. That's why the scripture said the whole head is sick. Why should I be stricken anymore? All you niggas do is revolt more and more. Isaiah 1, what is it? Lamentations 2, and there's many more. Our people are fucking through. It's over for our people. Se acabó. No more. No más. So it says, and again, us being here in a captivity so for so long, underneath the so-called white man, we pretty much have just become like, I saw a nigga, I was leaving the gym. Man, these niggas in these coochie cutter shorts. He's like all these niggas hanging out with these Edomites. And we spoke about this at camp. When you look at the dynamics of of America, right? You got Esau, our people just kiss the white man's ass. Even the black, so-called black and Hispanic women. When you see them, and when you see Edomite, our people aren't Edomite. Edomites are always in charge in the front, taking lead, and you just see the nigga just gagging the bra right underneath, behind the nigga. I've seen, light skinned nigga, so big sleeve, walk all like he ripped up, like his ankles is buff, like he brolic as hell. And then this nigga got these little shorts on. I was looking at this nigga, I'm like, yo, man. I'm like, yo, it's like Esau. Esau's still a fucking loser, Edomite. But it's like Esau put, hey, go back to the movie Sinners. Esau bit you niggas, and now you niggas have put the spirit of an Edomite on you. Our people are through. And they can't, again, hey, it takes a strong, if you are on drugs, that I mean, I can't really speak on that, but it's a reason why they have rehabs out there. it takes a strong mind. And I've been around certain people that have recovered. Um, and again, it's intense. It's not. It's ultimately it's really of Yahweh Shem Rashah to bring you out of this this world. That's why the Yahweh Shai even said, I pray for them, I pray not for the world. The script, Yahweh Shai say he's not going to take us from it right now, but he's going to pray that we don't be consumed from it, So going back, psychological fragmentation. I'm just trying to go through. So it says pursuing constant pleasure can become a way to escape emotional pain. And what majority of time have this pain been caused by your master, the so-called white man, and being told to shut up, turn other cheek, don't worry about it, little boy, nigga, chicken George, little nigga, shut up. That was happened a long time ago. It don't happen to you. It don't happen to you now, boy. Times have changed, boy. You've been told. Our people been told to shut the hell up. So what? But so Esau did what? You know what? I'm not. We're not gonna physically enslave these niggas and we're not gonna let these niggas know that we hate them. We're gonna act like we love them. We're gonna allow them to indulge in pleasure. We're gonna make them certain other people gatekeepers. And we're gonna we're gonna act like we love them. So they're gonna allow you to pursue pleasure. Esau's gonna allow you to obtain, come to Hollywood, come to his house, come to his neighborhoods, screw his women, marry his women, which you shouldn't be marrying heathens. Esau's gonna allow certain things to happen, you Jakes to come around. So because again, Esau is not a dummy. He's a very cunning hunter. He's not dumb. And our people see Master love us because we get to come in the house now. And that's when you look at our people, this is the mindset of our people. See, slavery. We can't play victim no more, because Esau love us. That's the mindset of our people. Why? Because again, going back to Esau has allowed you to think that you're able to get pleasure. So a psychological fragmentation. Pursuing constant pleasure can become a way to escape emotional pain, trauma, or boredom. This avoidance leads to emotional stunning and unresolved psychological issues. And we all know that our people have great psychological issues. Why? Going back from slavery, the captivity, or what Esau, the so-called white man, did to our people, and also self-identity crisis. All the pain and trauma that was caused on so-called Negroes, Latinos, Hispanics, and all the strategic snares and the traps that the so-called white man did to our people that basically has been swept underneath the rug. And we've been told, shut the fuck up and go work. Work hard, go to college, sell out, work hard, get your education, and maybe, boy, you can become like me, boy. That's the mentality of Esau. Boy, I said it. What's that fucking rooster? I forgot his name. But that's the mindset of Esau. Boy, I tell you, I allowed you to come around my neighborhoods and go to my schools now, boy. What more do you need? But, our people still can't see. So it says pleasure as escapism often leads to depression, anxiety, or existential emptiness. And this is why you get what you're seeing today, because our people are depressed. Our people have a great amount of anxiety, and our people have a great amount of emptiness, and our people are crashing out, and it's going to get worse. And this is the this is the repercussions of a system that was built off your dysfunction. So let me get this. Isaiah 47 and 1. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground. There is no throne or daughter of the Chaldeans. But thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. 2. Take thy millstones and grind mill, uncover thy locks, make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers. What Yahweh is doing is through the spirit of Yahweh that he has revealed to us by opening up the seals of this book and then allowing us to have that light. We've been exposing the so-called white man because one thing Esau tried to do was erase his history and erase things that he done to us as a nation. So it says, thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yeah, thy shame, like Obadiah 1, how are the things that Esau searched up. Thy shame shall be seen, I will take vengeance. And this is, Esau did a lot of the buck breaking, etc. Esau's a mo. He did a lot of wild shit to breeding, etc. I will take vengeance and I will not meet as a man, because Yahushua is coming back with an angelic form, spiritual power, not how he was the first time. 4. As for our Redeemer, the Lord of hosts is his name, the Holy One of Israel. Yeah, Yahushua. 5. Sit thou silent and get thee into darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called the Lady of Kingdoms. Yeah, because this is how you ultimately know this is not talking about the ancient Babylon. This is talking about it here in America, because America, basically is the Lord of all these nations. 6. I was wroth with my people, showing you that the Lord never disannulled the covenant with the 12 tribes of Israel. I have polluted mine inheritance. So ultimately, it was of Yahweh Shah that allowed this to happen to us. But it's going to be a redemption and giving them into thine hand. And this is starting with the elect. So this is why, you're very blessed. The true meaning of blessing is knowing those names and knowing that you're a Hebrew Israelite and knowing the truth. And Lord, having elders above you, great elders, with elders of GMS, and basically having the spirit to decipher and know what's right and what's wrong. So I was wroth with my people, I polluted my inheritance and given them into thine hand. So this is why, 2/3 have, going back to Romans 1, the first chapter. And thou didst show them no mercy. So Esau, instead of Esau basically keeping it, coming out with the truth. I'm an Edomite. Yeah, you people are Israelites. Nah, he doesn't do that. He stole our identity. He's lied to the world, and he has villainized us as a nation, so the world can look at us and not look at the crimes of the so-called white man. And he also tried to distort the Bible with Christianity and through philosophies, so people can't put 2 and 2 together. Upon the ancient hast thou very, very heavily laid thy yoke, and thou said thou shalt be a lady forever, for so that thou didst not lay these things to thine heart, neither didst remember the latter end of it. So yeah, the Lord is going to be a great judgment, and this is due to the pleasure and the snares and the traps and the lying and the deceit and being hypocritical. Esau pretty much took the focus off everybody, the atrocities that he did on our people, and pretty much tried to wipe that slate out, wipe his slate out, if I'm saying it correctly. Fucking hate English, man. And pretty much got the people believing and thinking that it's opportunity. Well, it's the opportunity pretty much done anytime an Issacharite And like I opened up with, I was with an Iscarite, and this man didn't speak no fucking English, and I had to use my Spanish, and I'm talking about hours, man. He was just, he said, at the end of this year, he's out of, he's going back, to his, Mexico, and we know that hey, Issachar, strong as he is hired. These Iscarites are building the hell out of America, but they will never, ever, 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 ever be able to move in or live or own anything that they have built. Isn't that some shit? So, and he even said it. How the hell is Hispanics known as criminals? But that's even what is, I think, I believe like 3-4 camps ago. Israel came up there too. It said the same thing. So Northern Kingdom, hey, continuing on. Verse 8, therefore, hear now this, that thou art given to pleasures that dwellest carelessly. Yeah, because Esau think he's going to continue with this shit. Why? Because he got pseudoscience in his technology. Well, sadly mistaken. Admirable, but mistaken. That says in thine heart, I am and none else beside me. I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. But these two things shall come to thee in a moment, one day, the loss of children and widowhood, they shall come upon thee in their perfection for the multitude of thy sorceries and for the great abundance of thine enchantments. So I was going to read some of, well, I'm going to go ahead. Shalaki. Wisdom of Solomon 14 and 12. This is in the G&T. Sexual immorality began when idols were invented. Pleasure, one of the most nastiest and crazy shit you're seeing now today, is the indulgence of homosexuality, trannies, perversion, anal play, pegging. Man, it's oh man, these the fetishes and it's a lot of wild shit. Anal, yeah, I said it. It's a lot of shit you're seeing today. Little kids and again, it just all goes into immorality and pleasure. And it's if you don't have a discernment or discipline, it can devour you. That's one. That's one of like the. If I'm not mistaken, that's one of the highest form. When you go to like the next level to like those idols, man, the temple worship, the temple orgies, man, those sexual endeavors. This is why, basically, in all actuality, that's why when you go higher up in the society, the more perverted it gets. And I mean, damn it, how much footage and how much shit do you need? Our people need to see that. Yo, even as when I was a kid growing up, we heard about these things. We heard about we all knew goddamn Diddy freak, but the older generation, that's one thing I say about the 90s, somewhat of the older generation, especially the West Indians and the Latinos and so I ain't gonna lie to you, even Judah, they knew certain things and they would tell you, they'll sit your ass down. It wasn't all this little nice shit like you see today. You don't hit the child. And this, these show. Y'all know what I'm talking about, man. The you had your old fools. You had a lot of them, but you also had certain older Jakes that knew they shit. Now, they knew, like, yo, this is not what this is what they're doing. Stay away from it. Da da da. Blase. And you it's a little kid. But you don't you how you say you're trying to process it, and it sticks. So basically, what I'm saying is, you heard about these things, and they spoke on it. So it didn't. You knew what to. Basically, what I'm saying is, and we knew certain cats that had talent that tried to make into the world. And they would even say like, "Yo, nah, man, I'm good." So we heard about these things. So basically, I say all that to say this: that's that sexual perversion and that with orgy and the gang banging, the anal, the breaking of men, the women and all that, the lesbianism and the gang bang. That's that. Hey, you got to do it. You got to do it because that's one of the highest form. Then the kids are involved. That's that's the highest form. And it's sad because I've been hearing about this since I was a kid about how this world gets down, and it's crazy. It's like now, everything is being let out the bag. Like the scripture said, the things that shall happen in the darkness shall come to the light. And it's like these people are still, I mean, the drugs, those Esau's kingdom, Esau's society. These people are drugged up. They're disconnected from meaning. The psychological damage. They've lost their self-control. They've lost their identity. The addiction, the neurological hijacking of these people has all been used to have these people like they are today, easily weak, easy transfer or takeover of the New World Order. They got these people exactly where they wanted. So social isolation, over reliance on solitary pleasures, video games, online content, substances can lead to withdrawal from real life relationships, women, men. This is all due to Esau's programming. Because what they, oh man, yo, come on, man. Let me hold on. But this is, man, Esau promotes gambling heavy. Esau promotes every fucking movie Esau puts out there has drugs involved. Porn, you see soft porn every day. Social media, Esau pushed it everywhere. It's a YouTube channel. I believe it's called Moon or something about trope, and it breaks down all these TV shows that pretty much desensitized you and promoted this. Let me see. They in taught they had the pursuit of happiness, but they have movies that is psychological and teaches you pursuit of gratification and all types of shit. They got movies showing you how to escape emotional pain, trauma, boredom. They promote all of this, man. They promote women to be whores. They promote video game use. They promote online content. They promote substances, man. So, 5, social isolation, erosion of empathy and communication skill. And man, hey, yo, and I damn sure didn't mean to make this video this long, but oh well. One thing I can say for sure, and man, my fucking goodness, it's like oh man, to get a cup of coffee now in the morning is fucking irksome. To the simple, just going to a movie sitting, it's irksome. You might see a mole. Oh my, hey yo, oh my goodness, fucking went to go see the movie Sinners again yet last night. The fucking black woman. She serving food. She walk out the kitchen with 2 dishes in her hand. Yo, this bitch looked over and belched like a fucking Edomite. And I'm not even trying to imitate. That shit was fucking disgusting, man. I could drink a kombucha and I don't even belch like that. I was down the hall and she looked over with the 2 dishes and she just belched, man. not a fucking burp, a belch. And the shit was disgusting. I'm sitting there like, hey, yo, they hiring people like this? And when you just look at these people and they're fucking just hiring anybody. They got dreads all over their eyes. So you got somebody that serving you, they're gonna take your order, dreads all in this fucking face. This shit is irksome, man. This shit is irksome. So let me go back to Wisdom of Solomon. So verse 12, sexual immorality began when idols were invented. They have corrupted human life ever since they were first made. Idols have not always existed, nor will this life exist forever. It was, let me see, jump down. The results of idolatry. One thing led to another. It was not enough to be wrong. Hold on. Yeah, wrong about the knowledge of Yahweh Shem Shah. They lived in a state of evil warfare, but they were so ignorant that they called it peace. So these people are so desensitized, they call it all this shit that's in front of our people is normal. That's why they promote ghetto, hood, gang culture. I'm a real nigga. I'm a bitch. I'm a slut. It's Sexy Red. And all these bitches love it. Why? Because it's like I said, one thing led to another. It was not enough to be wrong about the knowledge of Yahweh Shem Shah. And this is all Esau using that Christianity, etc. Man's wisdom. It said they lived in a state of evil warfare, but they were so ignorant that they called it peace. They murdered children in their initiation ritual, celebrated secret mysteries, and held wild ceremonial orgies with unnatural practices. They no longer kept their lives or their marriages pure. A man might kill another man by an act of treachery or cause him grief by committing adultery with his wife. Everything was a complete riot of bloody murder, robbery, deceit, corruption, faithlessness, disorder, falsehood. And this is why, because everybody's trying to chase pleasure, fucking with idols. Man. And when you look at majority of everything in the society goes back to an idol, except for this truth. And this is why you're very blessed if, like the scripture said, blessed are those that have the eyes to see and the ears that can hear. Because this is why ultimately this is the thorn that's on Esau's side. And they have to get rid of this truth because this is something that they can't control because it's of Yahweh Shem Shah. And like the scripture said, the corrupt thing cannot fall in a holy. Basically the corrupt and wickedness cannot intermingle with being holy. So everything was a 26 harassment of innocent people. Hey, ingratitude, moral decay, sexual perversion, broken marriages, adultery, and immorality. And why? Because Esau pushes this, this society in a form of just chasing pleasure and not giving a damn about anything else. Selfless, you're selfish, you're greedy, you're inconsiderate. The worship of idols whose name should never be spoken is the beginning and the end, the cause and the result of every evil. So continuing on with this, and I'm about to wrap it up in a few. So it says erosion of empathy, of communication skills, loneliness. Hey, this is why all these bitches now are talking about what? The men ain't hollering at us no more, this and that. Why, bitch? What the fuck do you expect? Why? Because of feminism. And you stupid bitches, you stupid broads fell for it. And it has hurt you. And a majority, I'm gonna be honest with you, majority of y'all not gonna fucking come back from it. So it said, which further drives the pleasure-seeking loop. You see, this is why these bitches getting their little ugly ass cars, showing their ugly little fucking faces, and they're talking that shit in their car, talking about it's like you had the broad to just say, oh, if a man got to see, oh, girl, just leave him. Because if a man got to see what's in his such and such bank account, he broke, he a brokey. Well, if you had a man, you wouldn't be sitting in that car right now, and you wouldn't be making this video. So evidently, you don't have nobody that's entertaining your bullshit. So you're hurting, you're lonely, and you're miserable. But again, bitch, you love misery loves company, and she wants other women to feel like her. And again, if you don't have discernment, judgment, knowledge, and understanding, you're going to fall for that. Even you men, which are simps, a lot of you men are simps, you're going to be on her little I guess the shit we respond. Nah, queen. I'm not like that, queen. Nah, queen. Fucking niggas, man. Oh man, fucking and again, man. The men of our nation has fell to the lowest. Pleasure becomes destructive when it replaces meaning, relationships, and growth. It is used to escape reality or emotions. Is sought compulsively without limits. So I'm gonna wrap this thing up. I damn sure didn't mean to make it this long, but man, it's all of it's all. This is all for Yahweh Bashem Yahushua and for Yasharala. So, or well, that sacrifice you gotta take. But the Lord's will was edified with that, and with that, I'm gonna say Shalom.